You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WLCX Daily News Roundup for the Eagle 1490 AM in La Crosse.
For 1490 WLCX, I'm Jimmy Kuska. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets in La Crosse, joining thousands nationally as part of the hands-off protest of President Donald Trump and billionaire Elon Musk. Organizers for the La Crosse event estimated about 700 people showed up to hold signs. The Madison event drew thousands of people to the state capitol and surrounding area. Appleton, Stevens Point, and Eau Claire also had protests. According to the Hands-Off website, the next National Day of Action will take place on May 1st across the nation. A mental health crisis facility that was set to open on May 1st in La Crosse is being postponed due to federal budget cuts. According to Tellurian Behavioral Health, the Trump administration's cuts to health services has removed the funding needed to open the facility. The new facility would have given people experiencing a mental health crisis a new option for treatment. Those people will now continue to go to hospitals or jail for treatment, according to an executive at Tellurian. The current crisis facility in La Crosse, called CARE, will stay open. La Crosse County and city officials are warning of a major road construction project this spring and summer that could cause traffic delays on the city's east side. The Wisconsin DOT is working on resurfacing and repairing Highway 16 from Highway 157 by the mall all the way down to La Crosse Street. The project means that traffic will be reduced to one lane in each direction through the summer. Some of the work being done on Highway 16 includes resurfacing all four lanes, bridge work, and reconstructing the La Crosse Street intersection. In city government, the Public Works Board meets today with a short agenda, including one traffic detour related to the Charles Street reconstruction project. The Library Board and the Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee will meet tomorrow. Wednesday's meetings include the City Administrator Work Group and Neighborhood Revitalization Committee. Then on Thursday, the La Crosse Common Council will have its regular meeting to swear in newly elected members following last week's spring election. Senator Ron Johnson is concerned about some of the impacts of the Trump administration's tariffs. With more, here's Civic Media's Melissa Kay.
In interviews with The Hill and NPR, the Wisconsin Republican said the tariffs are reasonably high risk and could make Wisconsin manufacturers less competitive when they try to export. Wisconsin employs 19% of its workforce in manufacturing, twice the national average. Senator Johnson said he also wants constituents to keep him totally informed about how tariffs are affecting them.
Tariff impacts are being felt by global stock markets today. Senator Tammy Baldwin has introduced legislation that would raise taxes on people earning over $1 million per year. With more, here's Civic Media's Joanne Krulotz.
The Paying a Fair Share Act would ensure that the highest earning Americans pay at least a 30% effective tax rate. The bill would apply only to taxpayers with income over $1 million and would preserve the incentive for charitable giving. The Paying a Fair Share Act is expected to raise nearly $120 billion in revenue over 10 years.
The top earners in the U.S. currently pay a tax rate of 23.5%. Senator Ron Johnson has reintroduced legislation that would remove the gray wolf from the endangered and threatened species list. The gray wolf was added to the list after a federal court ruling in 2022. Johnson argues that state wildlife agencies, not the federal government, should manage gray wolf populations. House Representative Tom Tiffany first introduced the measure back in January. In Wisconsin, a 2012 state law requires an annual gray wolf hunt in each year that the species is not a federal endangered species.
Governor Tony Evers is touring child care facilities across the state, hearing directly from the people who run child care centers about the impact of state funding on their operations. Current state funding for the Child Care Counts program is set to expire in June. Evers said that 1 in 5 child care centers across the state would close without child care counts.
Some legislators don't understand how important early childhood is, and I've seen numbers that I think are probably low that if we don't do something with this budget, about 20% of these places will close.
Losing child care centers would affect everyone in the state.
We have a high employment rate in this state and very low unemployment rate. And if we people start closing their doors to doing this work, we're going to have a lot of people leaving the workforce. And that's going to impact our economy.
Now, it's up to the state legislature to decide whether to continue funding child care counts.
We have the resources, and we should be able to take advantage of it. But we'll see. Everything is now in the hands of the legislature, so I don't want to make any guesses, but I'm very, very hopeful that they understand the education part of it, but equally important is how it impacts our economy and the workforce.
Evers said that early childhood education and childcare are critical for development and included over $500 million in his state budget proposal to make childcare counts permanent, as well as other ways to support childcare workers in Wisconsin. It's time to renew your fishing license. With more, here's Civic Media's Melissa Kay.
2024-25 fishing licenses expired on March 31st. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources reminds anglers they will need a new license as of April 1st. This is for all residents and non-residents over the age of 16. There are also new fishing regulations available on the DNR website for the 2025-26 fishing season. The cost for resident license are $20 each, or you can purchase a spousal license for $31 so couples can fish together. Technically, Wisconsin's 2025-26 general inland fishing season doesn't open until May 3rd, but there are still places you can fish, so don't wait to purchase your license.
You can get a new license at DNR service centers across the state, at registered sales locations, or at gowild.wi.gov. A Wisconsin government agency is warning about phishing scams, and it's not the DNR. With more, here's Civic Media's Stuart J. Waddles.
It's the DMV, not the DNR, warning about a problem with phishing. The Wisconsin DMV is warning about a phishing scam where crooks impersonate the agency through text messages. The scams claim there's a final reminder for an outstanding toll. Wisconsin doesn't have toll roads. The aim is to trick you into clicking fake links or sharing personal information. If you do get scammed, you're being told to call local police.
You can also report scams to the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection.
It'll be a relatively quiet week weather-wise after a cold start today, with highs getting to around 40 degrees. Wind chills and temperatures will drop below freezing tonight, rebounding to seasonal averages around 50 degrees for the next few days. Some scattered rain showers are possible Wednesday and Thursday before warmer weather and sunshine this weekend, when highs can be back in the 60s or even 70s across the Coulee region. We'll have more details in our Civic Media forecast. Download the free Civic Media app now at civicmedia.us/app. For $14.90 WLCX, I'm Jimmy Kuska.
The Brewers beat the Reds. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Crew with an 8-2 win over the Reds. Starter Chad Patrick getting his first major league win. I asked him about getting through 5 1/3 innings.
Just felt like I could just command everything a little bit better. I don't know, my body felt great. I could breathe a little easier, and it was awesome being out there.
Bullpen help from Jared Koenig, Abner Uribe, Grant Anderson with Eric Haas at catcher, Pat Murphy.
It was really good. The whole pitching staff gave us what we needed. Credit Haas. Did another great job behind the dish, navigating through, and Koenig came in a big time, and Uribe was good, and Anderson, that's the first time I've seen him really, other than New York, and he did the job.
NBA, the Bucks with a 111-107 win on the road over the Pelicans. Giannis taking the night off. Head coach Doc Rivers.
It's a win on a back-to-back night when you didn't know who was going to play tired or not, and everyone played well. It was good for us.
That's Doc Rivers with Sports. I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Pete Schwaba. Tangled was a huge hit for Disney in 2010. Probably no surprise that there was a live-action film in the works, but it has been put on pause. Reports that recent controversy surrounding Disney's Snow White, which was released a couple weeks ago, are making the studio skittish about Tangled, according to Variety. My guess is there are problems we don't know about because Mufasa the Lion King made $750 million globally. Sometimes there is more drama behind the scenes than on screen. Well, there are 3 more days of great film screenings at the Wisconsin Film Festival this week in Madison. Most of the screenings are at Flick's Brewhouse in Easttown Mall, so go to wisconsinfilmfest.org and check it out. If you couldn't make it to Madison for this amazing festival, don't sweat it, because Milwaukee's Film Festival is right around the corner. Let's all celebrate the movies, people. Val Kilmer passed away last Tuesday, and colleagues and movie fans alike have been eulogizing him and discussing his incredible body of work. Last week at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, Tom Cruise discussed his friend and co-star from Top Gun. Cruise asked the crowd for a moment of silence, then said to the crowd, "Thank you, Val. Wish you well on your next journey." Cruise also told the crowd he admired Kilmer's work on screen, the way he lived his life off-screen, and said he was honored when Kilmer joined the cast of Top Gun. Speaking of Kilmer, his co-star in MacGruber, Will Forte, says Kilmer asked him to be on The Amazing Race in 2010. Kilmer was having a dispute with his landlord and moved in with Forte, who turned him on to reality TV. The two love the show, The Amazing Race, so much they consider doing it until their agents put the kibosh on it. Forte says not doing the show with his friend is one of the biggest regrets of his career. Minecraft is only getting so-so response from critics, but that's not stopping it from setting box office records. The film opened Friday with encouraging signs at the gate, but the record set involved pre-sales. The film pre-sold more tickets than any other video game-based movie in history. The video game movie stars Jason Momoa and Jack Black and edged out Five Nights at Freddy's by about $200,000 in pre-sales, according to Deadline. Fans of detective shows, myself included, have a new episodic to look forward to. Max is developing NYPD Confidential. The show is based on an article that ran in Vanity Fair called NYPD Confidential, Inside America's Most Unconventional Counter-Terror Squad, written by Adam Saralski. He knows the genre well as he was a consulting producer on Showtime's The Agency and Netflix's The Recruit, which was based on his own experiences being recruited by the CIA right out of law school. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Breezy and colder behind last night's cold front. Lots of sunshine, though, today with highs in the upper 30s. Tonight, mostly clear and quite chilly, lows in the upper teens. On Tuesday, sunny skies, a bit warmer, and far less wind, a high of 45. Right now, it's 30.
That's your WLCX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lacrosseeagle.com. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.